Hey, Steve Imke here of Steve Bizblog. Hey, I really want to share with you an awesome tool called Business Decisions that we have here in the Pikes Peak Library District, but is also available in many other libraries across the country. This is the way we access it here in my particular library district. It might be different in your particular library district, but for us at Pikes Peak Library District, it's underneath the Research tab. If you click there and then you click on Business and Finance, you're going to get a variety of different reports that you can go ahead and run. And the one that we want to really focus on right now this morning is Business Decisions. Now at this point, when you logged in for the first time, you will be asked for your library card and your PIN number. And in my particular case, I've already logged on, and so it didn't ask me for it again this time. You have various options. You can either do an express login. If you do an express login, essentially you're going to go ahead and leave all your reports open to the world. It's just as easy to create an account right here for which then only your reports are actually saved. I've already done that in a previous step, and so I'm a returning person right here, so it's going to capture my email and go in there. So once I've agreed to their statement there, I can go ahead and I can log on. Now typically what we're going to do, we'd start a new project. In this particular case, we're going to create a new project called Cat 3. And you can select a preset area on a map. You can zoom in and do a lot of other kinds of things, but let's just use a particular address. I'm going to use an address of an organization that I mentor quite a bit of time with at the Catalyst campus, which is 559 East Pikes Peak. Yep. Could spell it better. Colorado. And there it is, Colorado Springs, Colorado. And it's going to go look at the address, and sure enough, it looked it up in the database. There it is. So I click on that. It's going to give me the option to define a variety of different rings, 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile options there. There's also an option for a donut, and there's an explanation if you were to choose that. It basically says that it just keeps the access within that ring and not inclusive of all the smaller rings. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to name this area here Cat 3, just so if I want to come back to it later. I'm going to save and choose reports. Now, this is typically the screen that you're going to go ahead and get, and a lot of the reports are pre-selected for you, but I'm just going to focus on a couple that I find that's very interesting. One of them right here is this retail goods and services expenditure, and the other one is this thematic maps. So we're going to go ahead and select those two. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds for the report to run. And as you can see, the data is now calculated, and we can run reports at this point. You can select any one of the reports to run, but these are two of my favorite. So at this point right here, you can select all the defaults. It's going to come out there. We want to select this as the search rings that we want, and we're going to run those reports. Now the thematic map, which is the one that's shown up here right now, that I'm going to bring to the center, is in fact an interactive map. It changes as you change different information. So I can select the various rings here. So let's say I select the 3 mile ring. It's going to display that. I can then select a category. Let's just say I want, or I have a business. I'm looking at targeting more elderly people for maybe an independent living facility that we're putting together. And so I might come over here and I might want to run a demographic report. And then select the variable here. I might want to select, in this particular case, perhaps people 75 to 85 years of age are probably the most likely to be candidates for that. By clicking on that, you see it will actually create a color map here. These are all individual neighborhoods here. And if you look over here, this is the scale. You're seeing that the density of persons in the age range of 75 to 84 tend to congregate in this area right here, a little bit less over there, and not so much in these particular areas. Perhaps I wanted to go ahead and offer some type of a diaper service, and now I really want to find out where families have children between the ages of, let's say, 0 and 4. There's a lot of families in this particular spot here that have young children. Another particularly interesting thematic one is with respect to expenditure reports. So I can click on an expenditure report and say I have a pet business. I can go down here and find right here pets. If I click on that and I zoom in, these again are neighborhoods that tend to have more pets in them. And so if this was the location that I entered, it is not a very high concentration of pet-friendly areas. Thematic maps are an incredibly powerful tool to be able to go ahead and find out where you want to focus your advertising. And of course, you can zoom in and actually see some of the very specific streets that define the various boundaries. Now I want to go ahead and check the status of our other report. So I'll click on that. And here's that goods and expenditure report that I just mentioned earlier. So if we click on that, this gives you a rather detailed explanation. Again, this is the location that we've chosen. This tells us that the population differences. It gives us family, some basic demographic information here. But here it says that within this particular section, which happens to be the 1 mile radius loop right here, the average spending for men's apparel is approximately $196 per household, or within all the rooftops, all the people that live within 1 mile of the location, they spend roughly $1.098 million total. Again, if we use the pet example down here, the average household is spending $365, and there's roughly $2,055,000 that's spent. And then here's the next one for additional things for reports. Generally, the reports run 2 pages long for each ring that we've chosen. Here's the same report again, but now we're going out 2 miles from our radius, and then here's the same report going out 3 miles from our radius. So again, if we're looking at pets, we can see that within that 3 mile radius, now it's up to $422 per household, and we're up to over $20 million worth of sales. These both are 2 of just many reports that you can go ahead and run. Business Decisions is an incredibly powerful tool to drill down and find out exactly where your customers are. Hope this was an informational tutorial for you. This is Steve with Steve BizBlog. Have a wonderful day.